So over the past couple of days, I have been getting a lot of comments on my videos, on one of my videos actually, about the stimulus package. And so today I'm actually going to be going over the text in this bill. This is the Republican version of the bill. This is not the official version of the bill, so these numbers may be a little off, but the way this is going to work is probably going to be very similar. So take this with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I do feel like this is how it is going to work. So this is what I'm going to be explaining. This is the CARES Act. This is basically the coronavirus stimulus bill that is worth over $1 trillion. However, the Democratic version of this bill has ballooned to $2 trillion. And basically, there is a division in this bill where it talks about direct cash payments to the American people. And I'm going to be going over who can qualify for this, what you have to do to qualify for it, and more. So, Section 6428 of this bill is the 2020 recovery rebates for individuals piece. And then in general, I'm going to be reading this text. In general, in the case of an eligible individual, there shall be allowed as a credit against the tax imposed by the subtitle A for the first taxable year beginning in 2020 an amount equal to the lesser of the net income tax liability or $1,200 or $2,400 in the case of a joint return. And then special rules for this are going to be how you can qualify for this. So basically, the number that in this Republican piece of the bill is $1,200 that will be directly paid to the American people so they can stimulate the economy. And that is the reason why they're doing this, is for an economic stimulus. That's why it's called a stimulus. So it's $1,200 for individuals and then $2,400 for joint returns. So basically, this is going to be allocated as to who is filing. So if you worked in the last fiscal year, for the last taxable year in 2019, and you made over $2,000, I believe, has a qualifying income of at least $2,500. If you made over $2,500 in the last year, then you are qualifying for this. So on the special rules slip, we are looking at, in the Republican set, which is why the Democrats are actually disagreeing with this so much, is because on people who were making less than, I believe it was the $2,500, they were actually going to be entitled to about $600. So in the Democratic version of the bill, it's actually ballooned. This number right here, or the $1,200 for individuals, is actually ballooned to $1,500, and that is going to be the minimum. And that is going to be the minimum until you have made over $75,000 on that taxable year income, and then that number starts to trickle down. And then in the case of a taxpayer is basically who has filed. And then taxpayer is described as a person if the taxpayer has a qualifying income of at least $2,500 or has a net income tax liability which is greater than zero, and gross income which is greater than the basic standard deduction of the United States according to the tax code. So then it goes on the limitation based on adjusted gross income. The amount of credit allowed by subsection A determined without regard to the subsection and subsection F shall be reduced but not below zero by 5% if the taxpayer's adjusted gross income exceeds $75,000 or $150,000 in the case of a joint return. And then for the purposes of this section, qualifying income. So basically, you qualify for this income if you have made over $2,500 according to the Republican bill. However, the Democratic bill is offering $1,500, so that again, this is under negotiation. The Senate is probably going to be passing this very soon. I don't know if this is going to be the $1,200 or the $1,500. So again, but this is going to work the exact same way under these bills. Qualifying income is going to be if you earned a taxable income in the previous year in 2019, or if you made Social Security benefits, which within the meaning of subsection or section 86D, and any compensation or pension received under Chapter 11, Chapter 13, or Chapter 15 of Title 38 of the U.S. Code. And then it goes on to about net income tax liability, and then an eligible individual. This is going to be who is eligible for this stimulus package. The term eligible individual means any individual other than an illegal alien, whatever the hell this means. And if you can read this and you can explain it, I will pin your comment on the top section of the comment section so other people can see it, or as long as you are not an estate or trust. So any individual with respect to whom a deduction under subsection or section 151 is allowable to another taxpayer for a taxable year beginning in the calendar year which the individual's taxable year begins. It's very complicated to read. These things are really weird. So yeah, if you guys like this, go leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please share this video if you are if you know anyone else that is confused with this. So again, basically you qualify for this money if you are a taxpayer, you made an income of $2,500 or more. According to the Republican bill, this section right here is going to change. This section right here, if it is going to be negotiated, this is the section that the Democrats are fighting over because they do not want this to stop poor people from actually getting the money. And the Democrats are wanting to increase the $1,200 to $1,500 until you make over $75,000. So again, it is going to be $1,200 to $1,500 if the Democrats get their way, and this section right here will disappear. So it is all depending on this section right here whether you are qualifying. So if you made less than $2,500, you may or may not qualify for it if the Republican version of the bill actually gets passed and this section right here stays. And then qualifying income, earned income, Social Security benefits, and any compensation or pension received under Chapter 11, 13, or 15 of Title 38 of the U.S. Code. And then an eligible individual, as long as you are not an illegal alien, as long as you are not in a estate or trust, or whatever the hell this means, you qualify for this. So again, share this video if you want to help other people out. I really wanted to get this out to you guys because a lot of people are confused about this, about what this bill means and who can qualify for it and who will get the money. I did see a comment earlier why I made this video about someone who is the age of 17 who actually wanted to see if they were qualifying for this. If you worked in the last year, possibly you are going to qualify for it. If you are not older than 18, you are probably not going to qualify. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.